Hello, White Sox fans, and what a rough Sunday we just had. Yes, first inning, Luis goes down with a hip flexor strain, and I think that just took the energy and excitement out of the team as a whole. Jason Benetti pointed out that the park seemed eerily quiet after the injury happened. And I think the team just wasn't on board at all. I mean, always all credit to Cleveland. They do have some really good arms. And the one thing you don't want to be against Cleveland is behind late in the game because they do have a very good bullpen, or at least the higher leverage guys. They're a tough team to come back against. I'm gonna get into the picks to click. This is the place to make your predictions for who is going to be the best offensive player this coming week. I do have to really quickly though talk a little bit about Luis going down with this injury. I did a quick search, like what is a recover timeline look like? And it's way too early to really know. He needs to be reevaluated on Monday. But from very cursory Google WebMD style investigation, a very mild hip flexor strain could have a recovery time from 1 to 3 weeks. So that's the positive. That's what we're hoping for. Is maybe we'll just lose him for the 10-day injured list, but he's definitely going on the injured list. Tony La Russa did say that after the game. There's no doubt about that. So anybody making your pick, don't pick Luis. He's not going to be active this coming week. But a more severe hip flexor strain, which again, at least he didn't tear anything, he didn't break anything, but it could be 6 weeks. So to possibly lose Luis for a month and a half, that could be kind of a hard blow. I really do hope Adam Engel comes back soon. We definitely have room for him at this point. The roster crunch that we always talk about is not going to be an issue when it comes to Engel coming back as soon as humanly possible. Luis Gonzalez is already scheduled to be called up. I hope this is going to mean, especially in Cincinnati, that Vaughn will be starting those 2 games in left field. It's a pretty small left field out there in Cincinnati, if memory serves. So I think anytime, I'm okay with them saying that we don't want to give him a huge, expansive place to play. That's why I really thought Vaughn should have been playing every single day in left field in Fenway, because it is a smaller area. If you don't think he has the range, play him in those places with no guilt. Come on, Tony, do it. We have to know who Tony's going to play to know who's going to actually get some playing time. I was upset, and I'm sure a lot of you were. I picked Nick Madrigal, and he did not play every game this past week. He's already batting in the 9 hole, so he's not going to get a ton of at-bats, but if he's also being set down in lieu of Leury Garcia, well, that really makes it difficult to win the week if you are picking Nick Madrigal. At this point, though, I don't think we have to worry about that because Leury will probably be getting more reps in the outfield. First off, I always loved looking back at who everybody picked, and Tim Anderson, again, was a very popular pick. A lot of you reasoned that, hey, we're playing Detroit, Tim Anderson kills Detroit, he's an easy pick. He did not have a great week overall. Andrew Vaughn also got some more votes this week. Jose Abreu was the top offensive player 2 weeks ago, so naturally he got a lot of votes as well. Moncada got, I think, just as many. He has been one of the most consistent players over the last month. Nick Madrigal was coming off of a really great week, which led to a lot of people voting for him, including myself. Luis, a lot of people picked Luis, and then news came. What a weird week it was for Luis. He first lost a couple of games because he went on the COVID list due to some flu-like symptoms he was experiencing. A lot of people understandably jumped ship away from Luis, not knowing how long he'd be out for, and he ended up missing just 2 games, only to come back, of course, and then get 1 at-bat on Sunday's game, which of course, was a single, but it was one that cost him who knows how much time on the injured list again. Hiram was staying strong with Adam Eaton, which is a great under-the-radar pick because as of Monday, last Monday that is, he was leading the team in RBIs and runs scored. Yermin Mercedes did not get that many votes last week. It was kind of an off week as far as Yermin Mercedes goes. And for the first time in our contest, 2 people picked Yasmani Grandal. And while he didn't perform exceptionally well last week, I think we did see some signs to say that, hey, maybe he is a smart pick moving forward to next week. Now, looking at the stats from last week, I wanted to show everybody here, not just to show you what the batting averages were, but also to give you a good idea about playing time. So you do see the number of at-bats everybody got. The distribution of playing time made this a very difficult week to score, to see who was the top and second place finisher and best offensive player. Moncada and TA were the only players with over 20 at-bats on the week. Leury Garcia got very regular playing time, almost as many at-bats as Abreu, as many at-bats as Eaton. Meanwhile, Yasmani Grandal, and this is deceiving because he took some walks, as we're going to see, only ended up with 9 official at-bats on the week. When it comes to total hits, Yohan Moncada led the way. Big tie for second place with TA, Luis, Vaughn, Madrigal, and Garcia. Not a lot of extra base hits at all this past week. Vaughn was the only player with multiple doubles, and nobody had multiple home runs. At least Tim Anderson made his count with a grand slam. Total bases, Moncada led the way, the only player with double digits, TA with 8, Mercedes and Vaughn 7. On base plus slugging, this is one of my favorite stats to look at, and of course we saw earlier how many plate appearances. Collins didn't get many, but he did make the most of them. And really, I'm showing everybody here because it's important to take a look at the bottom of this list. People like Tim Anderson, Yasmani Grandal were only at around 600. Jose Abreu down to 366, and Adam Eaton 200s. And again, on base plus slugging, you really want that number to be over 800. Runs scored, even though Grandal didn't do very much with the bat, he did lead the way with 4 runs scored. And honestly, just not a lot of offense overall on this week. Larry Garcia, nobody picked him, understandably, but he probably would have demanded the first place finish. 8 RBIs to lead the team, and when he did get his hits, they were in very clutch situations. And we know Tony La Russa likes to play the hot hand. He is definitely going to be getting playing time. Tim Anderson did very little with the bat overall, but he got 4 of his 5 RBIs with 1 swing with that grand slam. Again, Moncada is just that really steady force, coming in third with 4 RBIs on the week. I do like to pay attention to walks and strikeouts as well, primarily looking at the ratio. Yasmani Grandal, look at that, 7 walks against just 4 strikeouts. You do not see batters walking more than they strike out overall, but our catchers combined to have 9 walks against 4 strikeouts. Nick Madrigal, 1 apiece. Jake Lamb, I don't love seeing him in left field. I'd rather see Vaughn out there, but he does have a good eye, as is apparent at least within the last week. And it goes downhill really quickly after that. Abreu, 5 more strikeouts than walks. Even Larry Garcia, also 5 more. Adam Eaton was a very, very frequent strikeout victim last week. It was unfortunate to see Yermin strike out as often as he did, which is only 3 times, but we were not used to seeing him strike out. He got a bit more aggressive this week, and it only resulted in a negative outcome for him. In stolen bases compared to attempts, Tim Anderson was 2 for 3 and Larry Garcia was 1 for 1. And as I said, this was a very tough one to score because a lot of players that did well didn't get enough playing time. So you don't see them ranking highly when it comes to total bases and the counting stats. But you also don't want to penalize them because they were hitting well when they were put in. It's not their fault that they weren't given enough playing time. I think the top player overall on the week was Yoan Moncada, so he will take first place. And because of the weird nature of this last week, and also, hey, Sunday was rough, so let's spread the joy a little bit. There's going to be a 3-way tie for second place. Tim Anderson, his numbers were so low when it came to rate stats. I don't like to see him batting in the low 200s, which is where he was. He struck out a lot as well, but he still hit a huge grand slam. I think that should count for something. He stole a couple bases too. Let's put him in second place, along with who else? Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn, in very limited time, he did very well. Also, Luis, for those of you who did not switch away from Luis, your belief that he was going to come back strong paid off. He led the team in batting average in the last week. Again, small sample size, but he did everything he possibly could in that time. So that's how we're going to share some points on this one. So here is the updated leaderboard. Make your pick now for the top offensive performer in the comments below. Every game is going to count this coming week. There are 2 off days, Monday and Thursday. So there's only 5 games in this week, all on the road, 2 against Cincinnati and 3 against Kansas City. Keep that in mind though, in Cincinnati, there will not be a designated hitter, so Yermin might not get playing time. And again, Luis will be out this coming week, so do not pick him. As we come to the end, I always like to make my pick to click for you guys to see my thought process at least. Yasmani Grandal is an enticing one, a very interesting one. He's obviously seeing the ball very, very, very well. He, picked up 7 walks in very limited time. So even though his batting average was terrible, he only got 1 hit this last week, his on-base percentage was still like 500. You know Jose Abreu is not going to be down long. He tends to do very well against the National League also. Moncada is always a very safe pick in my book. He just seems to be a very consistent and a very powerful guy. I wanted to pick Yermin until I realized that, well, he probably won't play in 2 of the games. Maybe he'll pinch hit. Still probably a good pick because when he comes up, no matter if he's only got 1 at-bat, he's still a force. He's a dangerous person. Tim Anderson's always a pretty safe bet. I really want to pick Andrew Vaughn or Zach Collins if I knew that they were going to get playing time. Larry Garcia is somebody that I think is going to get more playing time than I want him to, so he might be a good pick right now. So I'm going for it. I haven't picked Jose Abreu yet this year, I don't think, so I am going to pick him. Jose is going to be my pick to click for this coming week with 2 games against Cincinnati and 3 games against the Royals, which are going to be big. They're going to be first place versus second place. I really hope the White Sox have rebounded from whatever the heck just happened recently, and that they get some momentum going, and they could start to do that by playing a Cincinnati team that is overachieving right now. They are not a team to be taken too lightly, but they are a team that the White Sox should beat. And I think Jose Abreu will help lead them into the promised land. And then hopefully we can take some momentum into Kansas City and walk out of there as the leaders in the division. Make your predictions in the comments below for Pick to Click. I'll see you soon. But until then, please get better. Luis, Aloy, and Adam Engel. Also, play ball and go Sox.